How's it going, everybody? I'm Stella Chung, and this is the Weekly Fix, the show where we round up all the gaming and entertainment headlines you may have missed this week. GTA fans got themselves a little bit overhyped for a new trailer that never actually happened. Spider-Man 2 fans have made a rather grisly discovery, and Marvel might bring back the original MCU Avengers. We've got all this and so much more. Let's get to it.
It would be an understatement to say expectation for a Grand Theft Auto 6 release date has reached fever pitch. It would perhaps be more accurate to say expectation has shot into space and crashed into the sun, and fans are clearly struggling to cope. The GTA community convinced itself that Rockstar planned to announce the GTA 6 release date at some point this week. Then it was yesterday, October 25th, that came and went. Now it's today, October 26th. So far, nothing. So why the optimism for this week in particular? There are a number of outlandish theories put forward by members of this most avid of fan bases. Among them is Rockstar's history of favoring October for game announcements. Rocktober, it's called. Well, time is running out for Rockstar to say something, anything, this month about GTA 6, which could end up being the biggest release date announcement of all time when it finally does arrive. We're at the fake age rating, fake Metacritic page stage of the GTA 6 rumor mill. Fans are adding investor calls to their calendars and even pointing to the lack of a pinned tweet on Rockstar's official Twitter page as evidence the developer is up to something. In truth, the GTA fandom has been in tatters for some time now. Earlier this month, fans thought they saw a GTA 6 tease and an image Rockstar published of the moon. Really? The developer can't tweet a single image about GTA Online or Red Dead Online without replies drawing the Roman numerals 5 and 1 on them. The numbers are surely there if you look hard enough. Rockstar will of course announce GTA 6 when it's ready, and with a release date perhaps in 2024, it probably won't be too long before the real tease begins. For now though, perhaps it's time for everyone to take a break. There are a couple other games to play right now, you know. Sony has released an update for the PlayStation 5 that introduces a number of changes to the console. The highlights are improvements to music in the control center, which, according to the update notes, are now much easier to use. Elsewhere, there are fixes to PlayStation VR 2 settings and voice commands. The update weighs in at a little over a gig. Changes include, quote, music in the control center is now much easier to use. With its two-column layout, you can easily browse various categories, playlists, and songs. You can avoid unintentionally broadcasting your surroundings while broadcasting games with your PlayStation VR 2. Just go to Settings, Accessories, PlayStation VR 2, and turn on Block See-Through View on TV to prevent the camera see-through image from being displayed on your TV while using your PSVR 2. If you say, "What's new?" via voice command on any screen, you can now check for new PS5 features. Currently, voice command preview is only available in English for players with accounts for PlayStation Network in the US and UK. And we've improved the messages and usability on some screens.
Spider-Man 2 features a number of familiar Spider-Man supervillains, but there's one that's conspicuously missing. Now, before we get into it, consider this your spoiler warning. All right, now Spider-Man 2 revolves around the arrival of Kraven the Hunter in New York. Now, Kraven is hell-bent on finding a foe worthy of his might as part of his great hunt, and to that end goes on a surprisingly violent rampage that sees a handful of supervillains disposed of. Now, during the course of the game, Kraven takes on the likes of Scorpion and Mr. Negative and even Venom. But fans have wondered why Rhino, who was so prominent in both Spider-Man and the spin-off Miles Morales, fails to make a proper appearance in Spider-Man 2. Now, one fan, however, managed to get out of bounds in the virtual city of New York and uncovered what appears to be a cut Kraven trophy room. Now, in it are 4 heads displayed on a wall, one of which belongs to poor little Rhino. That man ain't little, he's huge. Now, the other heads appear to belong to Shocker with untextured Vulture and Scorpion. Now, in Spider-Man 2, Kraven kills Scorpion with his very own stinger on screen, but also appears to have killed Vulture, Electro, and Shocker off screen. Now, it's worth remembering that developer Insomniac did not intend for this trophy room to be accessible to players, so we can't say for sure that, story-wise, Kraven killed Rhino off screen. Perhaps the developer at one time intended for that to be the case, but decided against it. Or perhaps Insomniac intends to bring Rhino back in the inevitable Spider-Man 3. Only time will tell. That's definitely an interesting Easter egg in Spider-Man 2, and a little surprising that Insomniac left it in there. The gamers are always going to find whatever you've got buried behind the scenes. I wouldn't be surprised if Insomniac removed this trophy room in an upcoming patch. Now, moving on, some gamers are up in arms about the upcoming Blu-ray disc drive accessory for the all-new digital PS5 Slim. The Charlie Intel Twitter account published images of the Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 PS5 Slim bundle, and eagle-eyed observers notice a disclaimer that has raised eyebrows. Quote, internet connection required to pair disk drive and PS5 console upon setup. Now, some people are worried that the disk drive has some kind of online DRM or that it requires an internet connection every single time it is used. Now, Digital Foundry's very own John Linman, a longtime proponent of physical game media, called the move, quote, highly concerning and very strange. He said, quote, hardware connectivity shouldn't be determined by a server that may not always be available. The concern stems from a potential problem years down the line at a time when Sony may have switched its authentication servers off, rendering the disk drive unusable. Now, perhaps Sony will issue an update at some point to remove the check, but as it stands now, a connection is required. Now, this is likely a one-time occurrence when you initially connect the disk drive to your PS5. However, that doesn't change the fact that this accessory doesn't make any sense for anyone. If you buy the all-digital PS5 Slim for $450, presumably you don't need the drive anyway. And if you buy it later for $80, well, now you've spent more money than if you just bought the damn model with the disk drive included in the damn thing already. What are you doing? I don't know. Anyways, the new PS5 Slim models are due next month with a rumored release date of November 10th.
Robert Pattinson's suit from The Batman was reportedly added, then removed from Batman Arkham Knight on Epic Game Store. The 8-year-old Batman game received a surprise update, which included an official new suit based on the hit standalone film The Batman, which was released last year. But just like The Dark Knight, this update quickly vanished into the shadows and is no longer available. For now, at least. It all started early last Thursday when users on Twitter noticed that the suit had been quietly added to Arkham Knight, posting videos and screenshots. GameSpot also verified that the suit had been added to the game, but curiously, the update came with no official announcement from developer Rocksteady Games, leading fans to believe that it accidentally launched prematurely. It all sparked plenty of speculation among the fanbase, with the theory emerging that the suit may have been released early and was actually planned to coincide with the release of the Batman Arkham trilogy on the Nintendo Switch, which was recently pushed from October 13th to December 1st. But again, we truly know very little about why the suit was seemingly added and then removed, so it's all speculation at this point. The Arkham trilogy launch on Switch would be a perfect time to celebrate the game on other platforms, although there's no official word, or even unofficial word, that the suit will arrive anywhere else since it has only appeared on the Epic Game Store so far. Batman Arkham Knight has plenty of other movie Batsuits still, including Michael Keaton's 1989 Batman costume, Christian Bale's from The Dark Knight, and Ben Affleck's from Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice. The next game in the Arkhamverse, Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, is set to be released on February 2nd, 2024, following a lengthy delay. Up next, speaking of games that are known for getting delayed, Ubisoft revealed its recent earnings reports, which means we're due yet another update on the 6-time delayed pirate game Skull and Bones. The latest update is that we can expect Skull and Bones to launch sometime between January and March of 2024. If you haven't been following the epic saga of Ubisoft's deeply troubled pirate adventure, buckle up. Skull and Bones was first announced way back at E3 2017, with a release window set for fall 2018. It has since been delayed a whopping 6 times, with the most recent delay in January of this year. Given that we're now at 6 delays and counting, there's not a whole lot of reason to be confident it will arrive early next year, especially with Skull and Bones losing its 3rd creative director just last month. We did actually get to play the game in August and had a pretty good time with it, but it remains to be seen when everyone else will finally get their hands on it. Now, Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora and Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown are both still on track for December and January, respectively. Elsewhere in its earnings, Ubisoft reported net bookings for the quarter of $584.1 million, up 36.6% year over year, driven by stronger than expected back catalog sales. The Crew Motorfest also had a record launch for the franchise by unit sales, and Assassin's Creed Mirage Week 1 player numbers were in line with Assassin's Creed Odyssey and Origins. And finally, being host for an alien symbiote might bring out the worst in people, but things are anything but venomous between 2 of the actors who have portrayed the Lethal Protector. Tom Hardy, who plays Venom on the big screen, tipped his proverbial hat to Tony Todd, who plays the iconic villain in the recently released Spider-Man 2 on PS5. Hardy posted a photo of Todd on his personal Instagram with the short but sweet caption, "Legend," along with the fire emoji. If Insomniac's Venom followed comic book rules, that emoji might be vaguely threatening since fire is one of the symbiote's weaknesses, but luckily that was changed for the game. Also, no one is reading into it that much. Topher Grace, who played Eddie Brock and Venom in Sam Raimi's least beloved Spider-Man sequel, was unavailable for comment. Maybe some Comic-Con we can get all the Venoms together to do a Venom version of that Spider-Man pointing meme or shout, "We are Venom," all at the same time. Until then, it's nice to see actors who play murderous, brain-eating slime creatures being so supportive of each other's work.
The developers of City Skylines 2 has addressed a rumor that in-game teeth are causing performance issues. Yes, teeth, like the things in your mouth, people. Now, a Reddit post that went viral this week suggested the city builder renders individual teeth for each of the thousands of people who walk around your city, despite the fact that the player can't see them. Now, while City Skylines 2 does suffer significant performance issues, indeed, it was something developer Colossal Order felt compelled to warn players about ahead of launch. The dev denied biting off more than it could chew when it came to the little people's teeth. In a statement issued to IGN, Colossal Order said City Skyline 2's Life Path feature, which describes the major events in citizens' lives, is not tied to the geometry of the characters and thus does not affect the performance of the characters. However, Colossal Order admitted City Skyline 2's characters, quote, require further work and confirmed they are currently missing their LODs, or level of detail, which affects some parts of performance. Now, the dev also said, quote, characters feature a lot of details that, while seemingly unnecessary now, will become relevant in the future of the project. Now, based on this statement, it seems that the lack of LODs on the teeth are causing some performance trouble, but not the existence of the teeth itself. That's a bizarre situation made even more intriguing by Colossal Order's line at the end of its statement about the teeth potentially becoming relevant in the future. Now, perhaps the developers plan to add the ability to smile? Well, who knows? Now, in the shorter term, Colossal Order has kicked off its post-launch performance improvement plan with the release of a new patch and the promise of more to come. The City Skylines 2 launched big on Steam this week, hitting over 100,000 concurrent players and sitting atop the best sellers chart. But performance issues marred the launch, which was met with a mixed user review rating of 53% on Valve's platform.
It's about time for a quick break, but when we come back, we're looking into why Disney may want to bring back Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man, a Five Nights at Freddy's fight, and so much more. Stay tuned. And we're back. There were a ton of MCU-related news this past week, such as the report that Marvel Studios may want to bring back some of the original Avengers cast. Kang was almost swapped for another Marvel villain, and even an update on that Blade movie. But before we dive into the world of comic book movies, we've got everything you need to know about Attack on Titan's final episode and much more. Check it out.
There's a new documentary coming to HBO entitled David Holmes, The Boy Who Lived, documenting the story of Holmes, a teenage gymnast who served as the stunt double for Daniel Radcliffe in the first 6 Harry Potter films. That is, until he tragically suffered a spinal injury on set that left him paralyzed. Now, Daniel Radcliffe is executive producer on the project, documenting Holmes' accident on the set of Deathly Hallows Part 1 and how his life has changed since then. Now, the documentary will be comprised of, quote, candid personal footage shot over the last decade, behind-the-scenes material from Holmes' stunt work, scenes of his current life, and intimate interviews with David, Radcliffe, friends, family, and former crew. Now, David shared the news of the upcoming documentary with his Instagram followers with this image saying, quote, finally, the day has come. I can now share with you all the secret project and 4 years hard work that has gone into creating this film, The Boy Who Lived. Now, the documentary is directed by Dan Hartley and slated to premiere on HBO November 15th. Now, it'll also be available to stream on Max. Now, in anime news, the countdown begins as Attack on Titan's final episode rapidly approaches. Now, Studio Mappa is preparing for the November 4th release in Japan, revealing this poster featuring the original founding Titan Ymir and Eren Yeager, signifying it's just 10 days away from dropping. As the days progress, we'll likely see more artwork from the studio studio to promote the final episode. Now, last we saw the Survey Corps, they were dealing with the loss of one of their greatest allies and friends. Now, the rumbling at this point has caused a great deal of destruction around the world, with the remaining scouts doing their very best to save what's left. Now, Aaron's plan is in full-on swing, and we'll have to wait and see how it all ends in just a few days. This finale has been a long time coming, and if you're not caught up, well, you've got 10 days to fix that. And finally, all you cool cats, guess what? Just in time for Halloween, the Bat is out of the bag on a new Blackula movie. Now, according to Variety, the 1972 blaxploitation horror icon who made his debut in the 1972 film will be seeing the light of day next October. Or, well, maybe not the light of day because, he'll burst into flames, but you get the idea. Now, Deon Taylor is set to direct with Roxanne Avent Taylor producing. Now, why this needs to be a thing is beyond me, but there was a special screening of the original film a day ago commemorating the film's 50th anniversary. Now, if you're not familiar with Blackula, it was a 70s movie about a prince who hit up Dracula to see if he could help him with ending the slave trade, but instead of helping him, Dracula helped himself to a big chunk of that African prince's neck, sucked his blood out, thus giving birth to a black Dracula. Hence the name Blackula. You just combine the two names, you get it. Anyways, the new film will apparently take place in present day after the 1973 sequel, Scream, Blackula, Scream. Now, in the new film, Blackula will be seeking revenge for those that have misappropriated his cultural heritage. So, he's got a pretty long list of folks to get through. Might be longer than a Scorsese film. Anyways, the original movie is a great campy horror and perfect for the occasion if you've been looking for something that'll make you laugh and scare the hell out of you at the same time. It's Blackalicious, babe. Iron Man and Black Widow have been nothing more than a memory mourned by the remaining Avengers since we last saw them in 2019's Endgame. But it seems Marvel Studios might be thinking about resurrecting the dead, potentially bringing back the characters made famous by Robert Downey Jr. and Scarlett Johansson. According to a new report from Variety, the studio has been kicking around the idea of assembling the original team for an upcoming Avengers movie, which would involve breathing new life into both Iron Man and Black Widow. Now, what does this mean? Well, we could see both Robert and Scarlett reprising their roles at some point, potentially as variants from across the multiverse. Now, that's one of the benefits of the MCU currently playing within the multiverse. No character is really dead. Now, one of the things that might be stopping this comeback is the large price tag that comes with A-listers. Now, for example, Robert Downey Jr. got a $25 million upfront salary for his starring role in Iron Man 3. But according to the Variety article, Marvel hasn't committed to the idea just yet. That's just something they've been kicking around. Now, what do y'all think? Would you like to see some of the original Avengers coming back, making a return? Do you think it'll help rekindle that flame that seems to have dwindled over the years in recent phases of the MCU? And what do you think Marvel Studios can do to recapture that larger public attention? Sound off in the comment section down below, and let's discuss. In more Marvel news, the executives over at Marvel Studios actually considered swapping out Jonathan Majors' Kang the Conqueror for Dr. Doom, according to that Variety article. Now, this reportedly was at the time of Jonathan Majors being arrested back in March after domestic violence accusations. Now, there's a lot more information that has come out since those accusations, including the woman who accused Majors of assault recently being arrested on suspicion of assault and criminal mischief in relation to the very same incident. Now, Majors has maintained his innocence throughout, but according to the report, Marvel is still considering other avenues due to this potentially damaging his reputation and in the likelihood of him losing the trial, which is scheduled for November 29th. Now, as we all know, Marvel has been pushing Kang the Conqueror as the next big villain in the MCU, spanning phases 5 and 6. But according to Variety, Dr. Doom was heavily kicked around as a backup bad guy, which would be fitting as Marvel plans to introduce the Fantastic Four at some point. Now, it's unfortunate these real-world circumstances are playing out in the public eye, potentially halting Jonathan Majors' role within the MCU. Now, speaking to Variety, a top deal maker in the industry told the outlet, quote, "Marvel is truly effed with the whole Kang angle. They haven't had an opportunity to rewrite until very recently because of the Writers Guild of America strike. But I don't see a path to how they move forward with him." Now, hopefully, Marvel Studios will at least wait to see how things play out for Majors in court before making a decision one way or the other. Only time will tell what will become of Kang the Conqueror in future MCU productions. And finally, in even more Marvel news, Mahershala Ali almost left the Blade reboot due to the various concerns he had with the script. Now, according to Variety, the script apparently had the title character, Blade, in the backseat as it was written to be led by 3 female characters. Now, this apparently didn't sit well with Ali, and Kevin Feige made the decision to bring in Logan writer Michael Green to retool the script. The reboot has gone through 5 different writers at the time of this video, and now, according to Variety, Marvel Studios is looking to get Blade out the door under a $100 million budget. Now, the Marvel movie has suffered many setbacks, starting with the departure of director Bassem Tariq in September of last year. With all the writer and director shakeups, the movie was pushed back from its original November 3rd, 2023 release date to September 6th, 2024. Now it currently sits at a February 14th, 2025 release date. And will Blade ever see the light of day? Well, here's hoping the Daywalker will return sometime in 2025. All right, folks, now if you're a fan of the Five Nights at Freddy's franchise, please don't be scared to go support the movie in theaters. Now, the reason I'm saying this is because a few days ago, a video of a fight during the credits of a FNAF screening went viral. Now, the entire FNAF community wondered what would spark a fight to break out. Like, did the movie get some of the FNAF lore wrong? Was it because William Afton wasn't completely purple in the movie? Or was it because when they heard the Living Tombstone music drop, a bunch of childhood memories came flooding back? Well, you know what? The truth of the matter might be that the fight was actually fake. According to the TikToker Sleepy1x, they claim it was all done as a joke just for fun. Now, unfortunately, the original video has been deleted, but I'm fascinated by this story a little bit, and I'm sure you are as well. So after some internet sleuthing, I think this is a re-uploaded video of the original. Check it out.
I'm here to tell you that nothing actually happened. It's all jokes, we're all guys. No one got hurt, no one took it seriously, and it's all jokes, yeah? So no why it's going around as a scrap or something. That never happened.
Yup, you heard it from that blurry ass face. The fake fight allegedly took place at an early screening in London, where a bunch of teenagers decided to wait till the end of the movie to pull off this guerrilla publicity stunt, which caught the eye of various TikTokers and media outlets running with the story as if it was a real fight night at Freddy's. Ha! Honestly, you have to take it all with a grain of salt. Like, we neither can confirm the fight was real or fake, or if this blurred out face was actually involved in the alleged hoax fight. Now, we've also reached out to the Met Police for further clarity, but they haven't gotten back to us just yet. But studying the alleged video footage of the supposed fight from another angle, you can see the teens smiling, throwing fake punches and kicks. Unfortunately, the damage had already been done, as it personally scared me from going to an early screening here in LA, which is why I've kind of gone down this rabbit hole on this story. Now, I know how rabid FNAF diehards can be, and I didn't want to go to a theater and have to throw a few elbows at some knuckleheads because they didn't think Chica's exoskeleton was curvy enough. That's a freaking mascot, people, not a Rule 34 dream sequence. Now, I can't believe I need to say this. Please, don't start fights in movie theaters, real or otherwise. The last thing we need is a new TikTok trend, which I'm sure theaters around the world will have quite the time trying to tame. Anyway, the lesson here is don't always believe what you see on the internet. So what do you think, though? Do you think it's a real fight, or do you think it's a classic case best summed up by my man Jonathan Frakes?
It's false. No way. Not this time. We created it. Not this time. No, not this time.
Now, in other news, the Highlander reboot is officially moving forward. Now, this according to an exclusive from Deadline, where the long-time coming reboot will star Henry Cavill in the role made famous by Christopher Lambert. John Wick filmmaker Chad Stahelski is helming the film, which he's billing as John Wick with swords. Now, that definitely sounds exciting. Now, the production team is looking to start sometime in 2024 and will be based on the original 1986 film. The Highlander is long overdue for a comeback, as it was quite popular back in the day. With 4 sequels, 3 TV shows, including an animated series, we'll have to wait and see what great heights this reboot will take Highlander next. And finally, in some fun internet news, the internet has been debating whether the Powerpuff Girls could beat Invincible's Omni-Man in a fight. And it looks like we might have an official answer from an unexpected source. Now, responding to Twitter user Tetsuro the Goat, asking the question, the official Invincible handle responded by saying, quote, "Think, Mark. They are made from sugar, spice, everything nice, and chemical X. There's no stopping them." A very good point, as we do not really know what is in chemical X, so it's a bit of an unknown quantity to Omni-Man. Now, this, of course, prompted Invincible's creator, Robert Kirkman, to respond by saying, quote, "I feel betrayed." Which he really should feel betrayed because, you know, he created the damn show and comic. But hey, you know what? Craig McCracken is probably cracking up at this whole Twitter tit-tat that's going on. Y'all don't know who Craig McCracken is. That's the creator of the Powerpuff Girls. Y'all should know who he is. If you know, you know, and now you do know. Now, the real question, though, is who do you think would win in a fight? Comment down below, and like a Five Nights at Freddy's screening, let's maybe throw some blows.
I'm Stella Chung, and that was your weekly fix. We'll be back here next Saturday with more of the biggest gaming and entertainment news. See you then!